What's going on, my creative collective? Welcome to your daily creative reading for June 21st. Happy spring, oh my goodness, summer equinox. Oh goodness. Where am I? What day is it? What year is it? I don't know. I'm kidding. Okay, so we're going to dive right in. I'd like to invite the angels, my guardian angels, my spirit guides, protectors, teachers, and their healing energy to this space, and I ask that it is a safe and brave space that allows for the fullest expression of our light, humanity, ascension, and healing. Okay. Ooh, I felt that one. Felt that one big. Bigger than normal. Normal? Usual. Yeah. Spirit, what messages do you have for my daily creatives, please? June 21st. Nope, that is too many. That is enough, though. Okay, thank you. All right. Bloop. This one said, oh, with love. There we go. Okay. Dear you, check in occasionally with yourself about your motives behind actions you plan on taking, especially when you have an end game in mind. Is the source of your motivation desire or entitlement? Maybe you're drawn to a certain path because you think it will bring you a feeling related to the outcome you seek, like safety or wholeness. Know that you will see a reflection in the outer world of the motive that drives you forward. Do you need a motive? Can you simply be pulled in the direction your soul calls you toward joy, discovery, growth, or adventure, participating in something compelling and meaningful without trying to define it? If you can step forward surrendered to whatever spirit has in store for you, you will be amazed at how things turn out. Check your motives, then hand them over to spirit. Everybody here wants the best for you. Life loves you more than you know. A little bit of Sagittarian full moon on that one. Yeah, I feel like this is really a call to I'll ask this again, okay? Can you simply be pulled in the direction your soul calls you toward joy, discovery, growth, or adventure, participating in something compelling and meaningful without trying to define it? That's the tough part, right? That's the tough part of surrender because we want to know. And I think that's a very human and normal response. But in that wanting to know, are we also limiting what spirit can bring us? Are we limiting the work that spirit can do because we're busy slapping labels on things? And, and this isn't a call to, because I feel like that's, some people might be, for those of my anxiously attached folks, for those of you that fall into that camp, myself included to an extent, I vacillate between that and avoidant, both sides of the coin there. But, that might sound really terrifying because you need to know. But I think there's a way that we can really sink into our need to know, and whether we need to know the outcome or we need to know something, or whether we just need to feel safe. Right. And knowing which one needs to be cultivated, because safety can be cultivated. And I'm going to move this up and around. There we go. So you can see more of the thing. So safety can be cultivated. Right. But certainty, it's a little bit less so. So just knowing the difference between that. Four of Pentacles. I get this, like, it's like a holding on energy, but you're making it look so beautiful that it doesn't really look like it's holding on. So, I mean, kudos to you. That's 333 on the time there. So I feel like it's this aspect of, like, you're holding on, but you're like, but look at how beautiful I make it. I make it look so stunning, which is true, but you also need to understand that it's safe for you to release. And it's like asking, nuanced questions like that. I don't know if I have the book. Yes, I do. Of course, I'm reading a book on it. Why wouldn't I be? I picked up this book from the library to understand myself and some of my own attachment styles and the ways that I've kind of gone between anxious and avoidant, just to get a better view on it, because I knew this already, but being able to articulate what you need in those moments, and neither one is bad. People might say, oh, forget anxious, forget avoidant. No, it's about understanding what your style is so that you can work through it when it comes up to become more whole and to become securely attached, right? And understanding that this is something that happens over an entire lifetime. You're not going to show up like done. You're not going to show up like no. But this is the book here. There we go. Anxiously Attached. It's actually quite good so far. I'm really enjoying it. There are other books about attachment. This was a new release. I have found a way to add myself to the RSS feed for like new books and things like that. So when they come out at the library, I can put a hold on them and I'll be one of the first in line to get it when they come out. So I have this like beautiful new release package or whatever when they all start coming in. But that book in particular is excellent. So I'm almost getting that there's this like attachment style, but then attachment style not just in relationships, but how does that affect your projects, your work, your self-perception, what you ask for and how you ask for what you need from people, right? Like like if your style is more avoidant, you may find that the idea of expressing your emotions brings you too close to the emotions you weren't able to express, which is like a wound, right? So then you won't ask for help, you won't talk about them. But if you're more comfortable with that, and sometimes it's very interesting to think about it applied beyond relationships, right? Okay, so Two of Swords, Page of Wands. I think that was in the same spot as yesterday. Queen of Swords, Six of Wands, Six of Swords, Five of Wands, Two of Wands. Okay. I feel like there was a release, and now you're kind of like, there's something that you let go, and now you're like looking at the space and what you want to do with it. You might feel a little bit restricted, but there has been healing that's taken place. And I see Saturn right down in the bottom corner here, which may be part of the Saturn retrograde. Like you're finally able to be like, oh, thank God. Like you can breathe a little bit easier because Saturn in retrograde sort of pulls back this intensity, this intense discipline that we can bring to the table. And I think that is, it's opening up your soul in a bit of a different way than what you may have expected. There's no tower here. That was yesterday. But I get that there's like a sense of like, whoa. Like there's, like there's something you may not have been expecting, that kind of crosses your awareness or crosses your path that's related to some kind of soulmate energy or soul bond or soul tie. And not in a bad way. I don't see the markings of something that would be overly negative here with that. I see though that your energy is moving. The Two of Cups is an exchanging of energy. It's an exchanging of energy. And I think that you're allowing wisdom. It's almost like you're bathing in the light of the wisdom that you've encountered on the path. And I feel like your guides are with you, number one. Number two, I also feel like there's this space in your heart for this Two of Cups now. And I think that you're recognizing that. And this could be to do with love and like even projects and work and things like that. Like, well, if I put this much of myself into this, I don't know how it's going to turn out. And that's where you're like, but I make it look so beautiful that I just, no, we're going to stop with the performing and like, I want to say like the performative, like holding on, right? Or it's almost like and not in that sounds horrible, I know, but there's a way that we can put on such a show that other people, and this, this is true of, I think, many different attachment styles, but I feel like there's a way that you can, it's almost like fawning. Here I'm seeing fawning, like you're fawning, and maybe yourself even, like you're and not in a way that's like true self-care. Like this strikes me as true self-care, right? Where you're able to come into relationship and connection with others authentically and showing up healed and healing. And I think this is also a depth as well. This is an ability to go depth in an emotionally intimate way that helps people evolve and grow in relationships, right? It helps you grow in relationships. You're not just showing up in relationship like, well, I'm here. What can I get from this? And what can I give? And I'm only going to give up to this point because that's my comfort level. No, like there's a way that you're going deeper, but it's remembering that it's like, allow spirit to call you in the direction you're going without needing to add like a motive to it. Like this is what it's going to be. And I think you're not really doing that at the end of this, but I think that's something that is like coming in as a caution, right? And even if it's a project, you can have outlined goals. You can have goals set up and things that you want to achieve or work towards. But then I feel like there's this way that we can get that twisted so that the goal posts that define the goal change. And that can really mess with how our energy shows up and what we're manifesting. So I think this Two of Swords is something that could become a tower. So it's almost like feeling confused, but this is almost like a different way that this Four of Pentacles energy is showing up, I think. It's like a different hanging on. We're like, well, I just don't know. But I feel like you may have more information than what you realize, but a lot of it is within you. So you may have to turn within. And the protagonist, once again, today is showing up as this Page of Wands. So your ideas, what is running through, what lights up your inner world? What lights up your inner world right now? What is lighting up your inner world? And I think it's important not to be too cold about this, like not to take too calculated a look, because this is like motive, right? This is showing up to me as like having a ton of motive towards something or moving to something. There's a way that this is like big motive, big ego. This can be a card of certainty and also protecting yourself and clarity, and that's true. But then what we can sometimes want, because of the antagonist position here, it's like you can want all of those things, but then you miss out on the joy of how it gets there. You miss out on the journey because you're so focused on needing to know for sure. So it's really about allowing the journey. And I think this is the Six of Wands is showing up as the big challenge for the day / the week. Like all of these different challenges work together. I think I find with the readings, they work together and speak to one another. So I feel like this is sort of what other people will view you for or as. Because maybe you're known for your ability to translate motive into outcome, 11/11 on the time. So there could be a way that there's this sense of like looking to external sources for feedback and information. And the Six of Swords to me is this is the triumph card, triumph over the challenge. And I think this is moving away from that energy, which is really beautiful. Like it's sort of like you go within and you're listening very carefully and very intimately to what it is that you need to hear about a situation, about yourself, about your own patterns and thoughts, because that's what the swords represent. And the Five of Wands show up here, and it's almost like you weren't really able to look at yourself or to see these parts of you very clearly. And I think that there's a way that you're sort of this is so interesting. Okay, so it's almost like these different portals that have shown up, right? And they keep showing up and saying, hey, come look, come look, come look. And now you're finally paying attention. And I think that it's like it's like you step through and you're like, wait a minute, this is not only way better than I thought it could be or would be, but this is also there's so much more that I can do than I thought. And this is sort of like, I think of this as like the beginner's mind, right? The planning stages, the beginning stages of something that is allowing you to step into your energy, but also to step into your energy on the one hand, but then also on the other hand, it's allowing you to plan for the future for yourself, and not plan for the future with like this, there's no bags that this person's bringing. They're just looking out to see what's there. And like, this is like taking a peek. Yes, but you're all in, right? And it's like a blank slate. There's nothing there. So it's like this beautiful stepping in energy. So you're kind of, you could be stepping into a form of your own, as it were, in this energy. Spirit, what messages do you have to clarify this for me here, please? Yeah, I feel like there's this clarity. It could be, I'm seeing, seeing and hearing actually, clairsentience come through. So it could be like clear knowing, like there's that, but it could also be clairvoyance that's popping through, because you're able to see things much clearer, because you realize that you were trying to see things through reflections, and like it was almost like this smoke and mirrors game of what was really important. And then you finally show up in this way that's like, I can see, I understand. And there's a way that you can be forward facing, but in the present moment. But yeah, I think it's like this, there's no ego in that space with you. And I feel like this Five of Wands is an ego, right? It's like watching the ego, like the ego slowly, just fall to the ground. And yeah, Five of Pentacles, yeah, ego, Five of Cups, Ten of Swords, ego, Emperor, yeah. So it's like, it's almost like a bit of an ego death, like your expectations. This is motive, right? Motives that were let down. This is like a view of let down. So this is like ego and motive coming together. But I feel like this is also you ending cycles with that. Let me do this so that I can hold it up in a better way. There we go. So I feel like this is you moving away from cycles that included that, and really putting an end to that for yourself. It's like ending your own misery, which is brilliant, right? Ending cycles of your own misery, because it's almost like it does take a lot of work, doesn't it? Like it takes a lot of work to be hurt all the time, and to be just to be in that ego space where you hurt yourself. And so I think this is you showing up as the emperor. I think it's the same position that we were in yesterday, actually, that the emperor showed up. So it's quite like you're really embodying this, like, this healthy sense of self. And it's not just about defending your beliefs, because we think of that as like the lowest common denominator of, like how you see yourself and how you show up. But I feel like this is far more about you seeing how it is that you show up for yourself. Because when we start to get into a place of looking towards the future, we can sometimes create this discord inside of us by like we can really mess with our own energy, because expectations are motives, right? Page of Pentacles clarifying the Four of Pentacles, the Six of Wands, and the Six of Swords. Spirit, can you clarify this for me further? Thank you so much. So Page of Pentacles, what else, Spirit? Page of Pentacles, Six of Pentacles, Six of Swords, and Justice. A lot of swords here. And also sixes, which is the Lover's card. So I feel like this is about decisions that you're making. And with Justice here, that kind of highlights that even further. This is Libran energy as well. So we have Aries and Libra. I feel a bit like this is kind of a long-standing way that you were just out of balance. Like just out of balance. And it's like you would move away, but I feel like it's almost like I'm getting this energy of you being in a consistent movement. Like it's like you were just, and it's not going from one thing to the next. It's not like onto this and onto this and onto this, because this card is like leaving with only what you have, like just this stuff on your back. That's all that you get to go with. And I feel like there's a way that situations may have left you feeling this Five of Pentacles here, in this energy of like, that's all that you get to have. That's the extent of your joy. That's the depth of your joy, right? That's all that you get to take with you. And this Page of Pentacles is, I think, a bit of a message that there's something different available to you, right? And I get that the Six of Swords here was like a going within energy, because it was juxtaposed to the Six of Wands. And what's interesting is that when you get into that Six of Swords where there's like an internal alignment, there's like an external alignment that follows. But I think you first have to, this is almost showing up as like a giving in to the values that you hold, because sometimes we can hold ourselves out of alignment, where we can be in this energy internally where we don't really want to let go or let things in, but yet we're doing these, we can do the most in terms of calling things to us. But I think this is letting go, and like things finally are free and able to come towards you. And I think that's this sense of justice, like that sort of writes things for you and places them into a proper context. And it's not in a compartmentalized sense either. It definitely isn't in a compartmentalized sense. But I feel like it's almost like these are two sides of the same coin, right? Like they're both showing up in this, I mean, Libra is not typically, like, it's not fiery energy, but it's showing up in a different variation, right? It's showing up in terms of like, this is how you're showing up in the world as yourself. And then this is like the beliefs and thoughts, because Justice is the Ace of Swords and the Two of Swords in the minor arcana, right? Which is cause and effect. So that's like the cause and effect in the world. And that's sort of your intellectual understanding thereof. And I think this could be also your possible tendency to be more diplomatic than what you might have needed to be. And I think it Ace of Pentacles. I think that is the new thing. There's something, because I with this Page of Pentacles, it was like an awareness. It was just this little bit of yourself that you were offering to a situation, a person, or yourself. Like you were just a little bit, but that's all that it took, because then there's something that actually breaks down the door here, right? And not like in a weird codependent way, like I'll do that for you, but like something really knocks down the door so that you can see, right? And I think you can see internally, I feel like you're very connected to your intuition, but then there's this seeing that goes beyond the sense of sight. And this Ace of Pentacles kind of comes to life here for you. The Ace of Pentacles comes to life. What I mean when I say that is just that there's ideas that are coming to fruition, but it goes beyond just the realm of ideas. There's an energetics to ideas, and that's where this Ace of Wands comes in, where it's like, what are the energy of ideas and how they come to you and how they arrive in your mind or in your heart? Because there's a way that, like, it's not about worthiness. It really isn't. Like, some people might say, well, that person's worthy of the idea because they know how to do it. No, it's not like that at all. And sometimes we can get conflicted because we think that Ace of Cups, holy shit. Um, okay, what? And the High Priestess on the bottom? Are you kidding me? Okay, so just so you understand my little, like, blip, blip, there, my little glitch. The Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, Judgment, Ace of Swords, and the High Priestess. When I said you were connected to your intuition, Spirit was not playing around. Like, that is a thing. So back to that worthiness piece, though, we can need motives, because when we have motives, right, according to this here, like, just allowing things to unfold as they will without this, like, demand on it to be a specific thing for all of time, because that's so suffocating, right? It squeezes the life out of it because it presupposes that it will be a thing forever. And it's not that that causes, like, some kind of non-committal pressure or, like, you know, not like Knight of Wands sweat. Like, it's not like that. It's more so just that, like, are you using motive and expectation to replace that freedom for something to expand and grow, because you feel like you aren't worth just peace and like within yourself? Like, there's this dance that worthiness is doing here, and I feel like it's all coming together, like this sense of security and stability. The Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups is that sense of love and being cherished and cherishing people and situations and things around you. That's appreciation. That's a depth of appreciation. And then Judgment is this kind of, it's almost like there are whispers around you right now of this happening, and it's this shift, and then, like, bam, it's this sense of truth and intuition that are coming together for you. Sometimes intuition is much more obvious than other times, but not always, right? Not always. It's very subtle at times. Sometimes it does kind of kick down the door, as I said, with the pentacle energy, but I feel like that's things coming to fruition in a real way, where it's like a lot of, you might have been experiencing synchronicities or dreams or things like that that were bringing, you know, specific ideas to life for you. So you were like, well, I think I'll follow this and do this because this makes sense, and I've had this thought, and that may, like, you're very in tune, you're in step. But I feel like there was this aspect of, like, you needing to really understand that what you thought was confusing you wasn't confusing you, because you know, to an extent, you already know. The High Priestess would not show up like that. That's a lot. That's a lot of new. You already know. So does your heart. So following the ideas that you get in the next little while will be very important, because I think we don't need to know everything of how something is going to turn out, but we just need to know what to do next. So what is your inclination to do next, right? For me, sometimes that is not doing a reading and not doing work on anything, and just wisdom. The Hermit just came out. It's like knowing yourself and understanding what it is that you actually want to do, and knowing, like, okay, so to use an example, whenever I would need, like, I don't know, I would need, like, clothes or something like that, I would be like, you know what, I really want to go here to this place or to that place. And so I would just go there. I wouldn't question it. I'd be like, okay, whatever. That's fine. I'm up for the adventure of the day. And it would be early in the morning, so I'd still have a ton of the afternoon left. It would just this feeling of abundance, right? This feeling of abundance. So good. Put coffee in a tumbler. I'd carry it with me, have a great playlist. It would be a sunny day. Even if it wasn't a sunny day, I'm just excited to be in the moment, that it was this present moment unfolding for the whole day. So good. So in that day, what would sometimes happen, I would just follow wherever my instincts told me to go. Which sounds ridiculous, I'm sure, but I would just do that. And then it's funny because I would find, like, the most ridiculously amazing, like, prices on things or whatever, or things would come to me that I needed, but in a way that I wouldn't expect, in a way that was just so rich with meaning and lightness and joy. And I feel like that's where I didn't start out those days thinking to myself, like, how can I make the most of this day? I have this to-do list. I have all of these things that I need done. You can still have that, but put it in the back of your mind and understand that if you can add like 3 things to your day that you need to do, or even 2, sometimes 1, right? Just adding that to your day and allowing the day to carry you through the doing of that and building in fun around it makes your day so much more expansive. It makes your energy so much more expansive. And I feel like that's where it's like this, like what is it that is occurring to you as an idea, that you might say, that's not worth doing, that's silly, that's misguided, that's blah, 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 whatever it is. That's my technical term, by the way. But that's whatever that is. It's like following these little whispers of your heart, right? And I feel like that is bringing in situations and people, but there's a depth of wisdom that you carry within yourself because of that, and not because of the things that come, but because you're just connected, because you've made that decision. The Lovers card came out, which is the 6, right? And all of these 6s right here in this one row, like that's a lot. So we had the 6 of Wands, the 6 of Swords, the 6 of Pentacles, the 6 of Swords again, right? So it's like you made this decision to move forward, and there was a choice, and I feel like it was a higher choice that you made because it's connected to this sense of justice for yourself. It's like your inside integrity, what you're saying and what you're meaning are lining up, if they aren't already. And sometimes we slip into places where like we struggle with this because we're transforming or we're releasing something or we're healing in some way. And it's not to say that you're not an integrous person. It's just to say that there are ways that can be misaligned while we call it back home to ourselves. And I feel like this is where you shine the light to call that energy back home to yourself. But it's really following these ideas is your source of wisdom. And if there are choices that you have to make this week that are on the larger side or even just smaller side with bigger consequences, and you can feel that, it's going to be really important just to listen to your ideas. You don't have to follow all of them. Write them down, right? I have that notebook right here where I write down, ideas that I get and things like that. Do I have to chase all of them? No, but it means that I can start to trust the ones that come to me because I'm putting them down in a way that allows me to see it. And then by the end of the year, you have this massive book of ideas that you can then start to give to other people, right? You can give them to other people, and that's even better because then it's like your energy is shared in a way that's so beautiful. You can say to somebody, oh yeah, I had this idea and it doesn't relate to my line of work or whatever, but do you want it? Like, here, take the idea and run with it. See where it takes you, right? And it's like you get to be abundant, not with money, but like with ideas. And that's a currency in terms of energy. So Spirit, what other messages do you have here? 2 of Swords again. Yeah, Queen of Swords. Clarity, clarity, clarity. Lots of fire, though. Interesting. Page of Wands, Knight of Swords. Oh, Page of Swords. Devil energy. Okay, hold on. Let me clarify this here. I got a little bit. There's a lot of people, though. I feel like this is a lot of noise. This is a lot of noise. And that's why I think you need to be connected to yourself, yourself internally. You really need to be connected to that that's your stability. And I think that this is the Death card here. So this Queen of Swords is your clarity. It's your sense of clarity and awareness. And the Knight of Wands, the Page of Wands, and the Knight of Swords, it's almost like these are people competing, maybe for not time and attention, but this could be, I guess, directional energies that are competing with you, like with one another, like go in this direction, no, go in this direction, no, go in this one, like it's just, and you're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like you're like, okay, full stop. I'm taking the reins here, right? Because you're like, I recognize how this has hurt me, and I've broken my own heart before by listening to something other than my own knowledge and wisdom. So this is like you holding and wielding the Ace of Swords that came out here because you're understanding something fundamental about the way that this, like, feeling like you had to be pulled in all these different directions did leave you feeling kind of cold, not apathetic, but certainly disconnected in a way because you weren't really able to sink into what was most important to you, which made it really hard to look for, to see stability as positive because it always had this kind of transformative aspect. But what you thought was the Death card wasn't necessarily the Death card. Now you're in the energy of transformation. But, inconsistency and intensity are not intimacy. And I think it's important to remember that, because they can masquerade as one another. And I think what you really needed and wanted was stability, and perhaps even just permission to want stability. And that isn't, you can have no expectations of a situation because you're secure and stable within yourself. And that's what I feel like this last little bit here is telling me about. This Three of Swords, the Page of Swords, Three of Wands, Four of Wands, and the Death card. Like, this is you reaching a point where you understand that your search for a certain outcome, or a expectations on situations, they may have come at, I want to say a price, but I feel like the price was really you broke your own heart so many times, and now you're understanding what energy is actually imbued in a thing. Things are not as they appear. Yeah, it's like, I think this is like the pattern that you're letting go of. But I think it's also keeping in mind that something can be amazing, but if you're stuck in this energy of having to apply expectation and meaning to everything, you're going to get mixed up with and in things that aren't resonating authentically, because it's not like, life doesn't work in a way that's like easy and tidy and predictable. Like, you can't predict everything. It doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. Spirit, what messages do you have for my creative collective? Karma's on your side. Yeah, there's like this justice energy here that's coming out. I feel like the wheel is definitely turning in your favor, but you have to trust that that's true. Can you trust that things are always working out for you in the absence of evidence that the finish line will look the way that you hope it would? And do you hope that the finish line looks a specific way because you're in ego and that allows you to feel certain? Or do you need the end goal to look a specific way because you're just excited to be there? You're excited to be in the energy of something that expansive. There's a difference, right? And it's like, when you get to that place of stability within yourself, anything is possible, because anything can get in, anything can make its way into you, because your heart is just that open. Spirit, what additional messages do you have for my creative collective to close this reading, please? I love being me. Yes, this is the Aries energy. This is exactly it. This is like being so at home in your own skin. Stop trying to be so normal. Be more of the real you. Show the world who you are. And when you have very little expectations of things, and expectations are like motives, right? You're like angling for something to happen the way that you want it to happen. And that's an expectation because it will do X, Y, and Z thing for you, instead of just being in the joy of it, being in the delight of it. So, Spirit, what messages do you have for my creative collective, please? I give what I want to receive. Yeah, and don't give to get. That's not the interpretation of this card. That's not what it means. This is, I give what I want to receive. If you want to feel love, give love. Because you'll feel love all around you when you're able to give it. You'll be in the energy of it. So are you going towards the end goal with the absence of with an absent awareness of how the thing that you're seeking is already around you in a different form, right? So easing up on the finish line is the big message today. So I'll read the back to you. We need to give what we want to receive. When you experience any lack in your life, ask yourself, what am I not giving, right? So that is your reading for today. It's all about finish lines and outcomes and just releasing expectations. I'll read this question to you again from here because it's very powerful. Can you simply be pulled in the direction your soul calls you toward joy, discovery, growth, or adventure, participating in something compelling and meaningful without trying to define it? If you can step forward, surrender to whatever spirit has in store for you, you will be amazed at how things turn out. Something amazing is happening. Something amazing is happening here for you. My darling daily creatives, that is your reading. 3333 on the time. Why wouldn't it be? So there are other ways you can connect with me on the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I really am grateful for your eyes and your time. So thank you so much for that. And if you would so desire, you can connect with me through monthly readings and all of that jazz. But if this is where we part, my darling daily creatives, I hope that wherever this finds you on the time-space continuum, morning, afternoon, or night, it finds you very well. Take care and have a great day, my darlings.